Hey everybody, it's Karyn Bryant for H.E.A.T. I'm talking with Sam Sicilia, who is facing Doo Ho Choi at the UFC show in Seoul, Korea, which is really kind of a big deal. Sam, how did you feel about getting a fight in Korea? To me, that just sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm always excited to travel. I don't mind invading, I guess. It's kind of been my role, I feel like. So, um, wherever they send me, I'm okay with.
Yeah. And well, you
Coach,
have traveled, so that I'm sure helps you, but like, is it hard when you have to cut weight somewhere else and you're not familiar with the food and that kind of thing?
not anymore. I stay really focused. The only time it really did play a role was my first fight in Brazil
Yeah.
when they sent me down there. So, that was just a weird experience and it was hard to focus, but now it's just a business trip,
Yeah.
and go shut them off, take care of business, and get out of Korea. So,
Well, why was it weird the first time around?
it's just kind of, I was just really thankful to be, like, obviously I'm still thankful, but it
Yeah.
was more just like of a wow moment. And I fought a Brazilian in Brazil,
Right.
that Rony Jason down in Rio, and I've never been like booed or chanted that you're gonna die and stuff. It was just a really new thing, like really quick. So it was
Right.
just a lot being thrown at me.
Yeah, I guess that could
Um,
be a lot.
yeah. So, but where to now, I'm like, I'm okay with it. I don't need everybody cheering for me, but just to be thrown into that was crazy.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Thankful for it now, but at the time, I'm like, dude, this sucks.
Well, and I can't imagine any other crowd really other than Irish, could be that volatile and that much of a factor in the game. Let's put it that way. Other than Brazil and Ireland, I have a feeling that Korea is going to be fine.
Right. And like, honestly, I love it now, even playing the bad guy. But at that time,
Yeah.
like it was actually like personal. I'm like, what do you mean you want me to die? Like I really was like personal, and now it's just like even the Irish crowd and the Brazilian crowd, you could feed off that,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the first one was not good.
I'm a good person, man. Yeah, right.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so how does it feel now? You guys are finally fighting because the fight was what scheduled twice before and postponed. So is it sort of frustrating to be focusing on the same person for such a long time? Obviously, you've had some other fights, but like to just keep having this guy come up, is that annoying?
It's a little bit irritating just
Yeah.
because you keep getting signed to somebody, and then it's been within like 2 weeks when it gets switched. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm training to fight whoever, and that's what I've kind of learned by signing a contract with this guy.
Right.
But um, the night of the fight, if I'm in the cage and somebody else walks out, I'll be ready for him. So
Nice.
whatever. But
That's funny.
but now I got to go do it in Korea. We were scheduled in San Diego and Las Vegas, and he
Yeah.
couldn't make those trips. But now I got to go down there. But for some reason, Sean Shelby wants to see it, so you got to make that happen.
Right. I hear you. Hold on. I'm gonna just adjust my light here. I realize I'm like the light is changing here. I'm in a shadow. All right. I'm gonna. This is. It's a high tech operation over here, Sam.
It is.
Um, all right, there, that's good. I know because later on, Wade will be editing this. He's like, "What? I can't. What are you doing?" Um,
Right.
so listen, you're on a two-fight win streak. That certainly has to feel good going in here. Do you find? I always wonder with people when they lose a fight. Sometimes you just got caught or the guy just had your number that night. But now that you got a couple of wins in a row, do you feel like you started to do something right or started to do something better?
Yeah, for sure. Up here we have a small gym, but it's really geared towards whoever's fighting next.
Yeah.
Me or Julianna or Mike or Liz. But now we're at a point where we know we've learned a lot through experiences. We don't have a big like cookie cutter gym where
Right.
the practices are just like everybody else. So oh, and I went up through the pro rankings really quick and then jumped in the UFC. Like I was pro for like a year,
Oh wow.
and then I took like 11 fights in 1 year, and now you fight 3 or 4 times, which
Yeah.
is to me it's tough training all that time without competing very
Hmm.
often. So a lot of adjustments had to be made, and the win lose shit can't happen. Like
Yeah.
I go out there to compete, but it's mostly staying focused, and
Yeah.
it's hard to when you're not competing that much,
Mhm.
but it's just something you got to do.
Well, certainly, I mean, Julianna has been through so much. I can't imagine what that's like for her to win the show and then just wreck her knee. It's like got to be so frustrating. You guys have had, like you mentioned, it's a small team, but very tight. But I mean, have you thought about going somewhere else? Obviously, Mike Mav's up there with you and stuff. But have you thought about, trying out some other places? Have you gotten other looks at other places?
No, I have before, and it doesn't really work out. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
We've only went a couple places for like a couple weeks, and they're good people and stuff, but it's not like your guys that you start with. Like the guys I'm with up here, you're like we started, and we were the ones that believed we can make it to the UFC
Right.
when nobody was up here.
Right.
It's kind of like let's go get this money. Like we're gonna do this, not
Mm-hmm.
just like I'm on this solo mission and I gotta go wherever.
Yeah.
My hometown and my family and everybody's here, and this is where I start and finish my career. So,
But you
we're
guys have
part
been
of building
criticized.
something up here too.
Well, yeah. I mean, how do you feel though? Because there's, after Juliana got hurt, there was some criticism, and some people have said that you guys don't fight smart up there and that you don't train well. Did that sting a little bit?
Yeah, but nobody had the facts, so you don't blame them on what they're hearing. They hear that a girl got hurt by a guy,
Mm-hmm.
but really the story is like, I remember it circulated a bunch of shit, like somebody just ran in our gym and jumped on her back and stuff. Like we just let her train with whoever,
Right,
but it was
right.
somebody that she trains with all the time,
Yeah.
and it was not good, but it's not anything like on our end like we were training stupid, but
Right.
it did get criticized a lot, and because we're a close group, that affects the whole team. So
course.
it's but coming out the other side, it made our team a little bit tighter. So
Nice. Well, I
yeah,
love me some Mike Mav.
yeah, thank you.
So the thing is with you now, you have 2 fights in a row, 2 wins in a row. We know that the featherweight division is very competitive now. Conor likes to say that he's cleaning it out, and after he beats Jose, he's going to leave. But how do you feel about it right now? How do you feel about the opportunities that you have in front of you?
I like it. Guys like Connor come in, and he is cleaning it out, still, and he's got a tough fight ahead of him.
Oh yeah.
You can't take away anything from that guy. Connor's kind of changed how it has to, I guess, like in rappers terms or whatever, change the game or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to be more outspoken, and a lot of guys don't like putting that pressure on themselves, but Connor does, and then rises to the occasion.
Right.
To where how I was brought up in the UFC was rough, but I'm battle tested, and now I'm on that I need to be on, and I feel
Nice.
like now when these opportunities present themselves, I'm where my mindset or my skill set finally caught up to my mindset. I always wanted to go in there and blast guys and do all this stuff, and
Hmm.
now I've been training long enough to where it'll be my 10th fight in the UFC,
Yeah.
so I am the veteran, and I do need to make the run now. I can't do the win-loss stuff anymore.
So not to look past your current opponent, but is there somebody, a couple fights on UFC tonight? We like to do this thing, sort of road to gold, where we feel like who would be a good matchup for you to kind of climb the ladder. So obviously not taking your next opponent lightly. Is there somebody though you have your eyes on that you think either would be like a really great matchup or just somebody that would really help advance your career?
For whatever reason, yeah, I do have to, go make short work of Choi,
Yep.
because they need to see that fight for whatever reason. But I'll go take care of that part. And then I was watching like guys that are ranked, Darren Elkins and these guys, and that's what gets me the most pumped. How the hell is this guy out there? To me, he's harmless, and his damage is his nickname, and
Right.
because he takes so much damage and keeps coming, that's awful.
Yeah.
You
don't like
but,
his approach?
he's doing his part, so you can't take that from these guys. But
No, but you're known
it's
for letting your hands go, and so I can see
Right.
how somebody who's a wrestle effer might bother you. I'm not calling Darren that, other people have, but you know what I mean. I know
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. It is, and it's like it's not that I can't wrestle, but I go in to finish fights, and that's a fight I could finish. There's a bunch of guys, but it's all doesn't mean anything. It's just another article of somebody trying to, make their way up by talking until you start doing it. So I gotta knock this guy out. Otherwise, nobody even hears you. So, guys like Darren Elkins. I forgot who else it was. A couple guys I haven't even heard of. And I follow the sport, and who the hell is that guy? Maybe I don't follow as closely as I can, but he's just some other dude.
Right. But there is also the idea that, and we see it all the time, that when you are aggressive, when you do let your hands go, you're actually a lot more vulnerable too. So obviously you have to, that going in that you could get knocked out too, but you're cool with that.
Well, it's more like I had to find a balance between an actual sport and like a fight. It's like the fighter mentality is they got to get in there and destroy them, but this part that's a sport is it's 15 minutes in rounds. There's a ref on top of it. You do got to do damage, but you also got to know what you're doing in there and keep your head. You can't just go in there and freak out. So finding that balance took a long time, and I had a 4-fight win streak with 4 knockouts in under 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And when that doesn't happen, in the UFC, you knock them down and they get back up. Well, they used to. So now now you got to shut them off and get them out of there.
When you look at your bio on the UFC site, it says that you like Vitor and Hendo, right? Those are a couple of old school dudes that you like.
Right.
So was that tough for you to watch them fight each other the other day?
Yeah, it was, man. I was watching. Well, mostly when I first started watching fighting, those were the two. I'm like, I have to watch those fights.
Yeah.
And watching them now, Hendo and old Leatherface Hendo, dude, I've never seen him bleed. I don't know if you've noticed that, but he gets hit all the time, and even in these wars, he's not bleeding.
That's so weird. I guess
even in this fight, he gets head kicked and stuff, and he gets up and he's just like, darn it.
You're right. Dude, that's
it's
freaking
crazy.
Me out now. I never thought of that.
Yeah, no, but if you watch it now, I've honestly never seen him bleed, and he's just a tough man, And then watching Vitor when he was 19 and had traps coming out of his ears, I'm like, what is this guy? He is a phenom.
Yeah.
And that's what attracted me to the sport.
Yeah.
It's pretty. And then fighting on the same card as them, if I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self that, he would freak out, So that was a special fight too, and I got a knockout in front of those two. So
yeah. No, that's cool. I respect that. It was tricky when you work on that show and you see some people who kind of talk smack about them. Like, you guys, come on. You can't. I
know.
They're legends. You can't.
I know.
Come on.
How can you say a bad thing about Hendo? I mean, even he's lost a couple here and there. I'm like, there's no way you can say a bad thing. He's just a grown-ass man that's still knocking people out and going in there and doing his thing.
I think with him, what's hard is that he is so beloved. Nobody wants to see him get hurt now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really, I think, what it comes down to. But, So
well, Danny, he can take care of himself.
Yeah, no, I think so. I know. I don't think we need to tell him. So listen, what's your deal in terms of your fight and Thanksgiving, bro? Because
oh, I know.
It's my favorite holiday. I would not be able to take a fight right around then.
Yeah, it's the sacrifice that's got to be made, but, and I tell my family, and they're okay with it. And obviously, the value of their Christmas present depends on my fight too, get knocked out of the night and they're going to be getting good presents. So they're okay with the trade-off.
That's great. So you have about just a week or so more of tough training then, and then you'll kind of cool off a little and just work on the weight part? How close
are you? Yeah, exactly. I have a week and a half more up here and get the grind done with, and then continue the descent to 45.
Yeah.
Which is, I got it down to a science now. So I weigh 146 for about 2 seconds and then rehydrate and get back in there. And
were you a guy that used IVs or no?
I have, yeah. And I actually did a couple without too, just to see, once I heard the news that it might happen, and I felt fine with or without it. It doesn't affect my performance.
Yeah.
So,
And
a lot of that's cutting down to 45 a lot smarter than I used to. So I feel fine. It won't affect my performance.
That's good. And did USADA come and knock on your door at all before this fight?
Not this one. They did the last one, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I didn't get the call, but
No. But you filled out the form, the whereabouts form. You filled it out?
What's that?
You filled out the whereabouts form? Because apparently Cerrone got busted.
Yeah.
You know, he left town and didn't tell him, so.
I know. I mean, I don't get it, but yeah, that nobody's been knocking on my door, so.
Yeah.
I've got it all filled out and ready to go if they want to, so.
Nice. And last question, who's your pick in the main event? Obviously, Benson Henderson is there against Thiago Alves. Who do you like in that fight?
I like Benson.
Yeah.
And he does really good up at that weight class too.
Yeah.
Even watch him fight. What's his name? The
Brandon
giant
Thatcher.
70-pounder.
Brandon Thatcher.
Yeah, man, he looks really good. So and Benson's got cardio and.
Yeah.
Gotta watch out for some crazy stuff from Thiago, but I like Benson.
Thiago's a monster, though.
He is. You gotta watch those knees, and he fights pissed off. I love that, but
Yeah.
I got Benson.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, listen, Sam, thanks for taking the time out today, and stay healthy. Really looking forward to watching you do your thing, because you that's what I like about you. You don't go out there to put on a boring fight, so really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks. It was good seeing you, Karyn.
Yeah, you too, Sam. Take it easy.
Will do. You too.
Bye.